Reconciler is about reconciliation at its heart. It's a suspenseful movie at the same time, one that'll, entertain as well as kind of get you to thinking about certain things too.
I play a newspaper reporter who, when he first wakes up, doesn't know what he's doing there any more than his new friend James does. They've never seen each other before. And as the story goes along, you realize that Ed is in this position because he has unfortunately ticked off this mysterious serial kidnapper called the RECONCILER.
I think with my character, Lori, she's running. She knows, but she's running. And she's not wanting to make that decision, but God is wanting her to make that decision.
It kind of came from the idea that there were a lot of people, unfortunately, who I had seen either in my life, whether it be at my church or whether it was people that I knew, who had relatives or friends that they were on the outs with and, just kind of not on speaking terms. And there would just be times that you'd see the situation and you'd say, I wish I could just take those two people who aren't talking and lock them in a room together until they worked their problems out. Now, because that's illegal in real life, I decided, what if you wrote a story about a guy who did that? A couple of years ago, I had reached this point where I was kind of doing a play every summer for my church just to kind of keep the creative juices flowing while I was trying to, pursuing my magic career and getting other ideas made. And the Reconciler came up as one idea that we did, and to be honest with you, I didn't think the play was anything special. It was kind of a throwaway play. I was literally writing it and casting it at the same time.
I wanted a project that, we could shoot in a limited number of days. I hadn't shot a feature since 2000, and so kind of get my feet wet, but something we could kind of build on. So when I asked him about seeing the script, he put it together for me in script form or screenplay form. And I took it and, of course, rewrote a lot of it for kind of cinematic purposes, but also added some storylines and some other elements that just kind of took it to the next level.
Sean has this gift for taking something that I write and improving it. It's almost like he knows what I was thinking and then he knows how to say it better.
From there, we started to cast it. And Scott, of course, being the person who played Ed in the actual play, asked if he could play Ed in the movie, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great. The role that the Jeremy and Jordan Steele play, that was actually in the play, was a mother and daughter, where we rewrote it for them because we had been wanting to work with them since putting Twin Master together. And we thought, wouldn't it be a cool way to kind of get started?
I read the script, I liked it, and I thought that it would make a difference. And that's what it's all about, is making a difference in the world.
What was really cool about the warehouse was the way it was dressed. It looked like the middle of nowhere. And I honestly, when I was in the scene, I was like, where am I? Because when you look at the warehouse and you look at the environment that we were in, it's kind of creepy.
It is.
I honestly thought it reminds me, like this movie.
It's like a trap.
It's like we're entrapped in this room, and we are entrapped in this room.
And it felt like it.
It really felt like it. And so they did a really good job. Sean did an amazing job on making us really feel like we were trapped because fear was in my heart. I will say that. One of the best locations on the Reconciler was Beacon Rock.
Yes.
It was amazing. That was honestly the longest hike LA boys could ever have, because honestly,
LA boys know Griffith Park and Runyon Canyon. You know what I'm saying?
We wear suit jackets with t-shirts all the time.
When we go on jogs,
we're not.
man.
We put gel in our hair. We wear high top shoes. We're not meant for hiking, but we hiked, and it was a once in a lifetime experience.
I felt like every location was very specific to the actors in the scene and very specific in the story as a whole. And to have that feel of that intense garage and being in there with all those, everything was perfect. Every location worked out the way it was supposed to. And to me, I feel like this whole movie together, once it's together, it's going to be a real magical moment for everybody to watch.
The cool thing about Kevin and myself is that we have real similar views on how to do things. And so it was real easy for me as we're composing shots and moving through things or saw different angles that I could go, hey, Kevin, what do you think of this? And he'd be like, oh, on it. That is so awesome. Or, that's good. And he'd come up with shots and I'd go, oh, yeah, perfect. And so we had this real neat relationship where we could almost read each other's minds, and that made just shooting that much quicker. And how we're able to shoot the entire film in 11 days.
Especially the part with the little girl. Really, I'm gonna get emotional here. It touched me because in that part it talked about how God sent a message just for Lori to say that I love you, I want you back. And God does that in all different kinds of ways. He'll send people in your life, and it could be angels unaware. You never know.
The thing about working with Sean is he's a serious dude on set. Like he is don't get me wrong, at home
he smiles.
He makes me laugh. He tells jokes. I beat him in Halo.
It's a great relationship.
When Sean steps on that set, he's all business and he gets it done.
I was particularly surprised to find out, I think the third or fourth day of shooting, I'm not sure, that the first film that he had showed me was 15 years old. So I was very surprised to find out that this was, well, I knew it was only a second feature, but I had no idea that it had been more than a decade since he had done this. And if no one had told me that, I never would have guessed, because he seemed like a guy who did it all the time.
I liked the heart of the director. I felt that the passion was to try to get a message that is life-changing. And I really appreciated the patience and also taking the time to try to get the best performance that he could out of each character and actor that's in the movie. I appreciate the heart of God that the director had as well, because I feel like it's good. We've got to make a difference in the world, some way, somehow, and the best way is to get it out through media.
Film in the Christian market is so important because it's a way to get a message across to people that wouldn't necessarily read the Bible. They wouldn't necessarily want to go to church. Yeah. But if they watch a movie that has a compelling story and still relates to Jesus and God, they'll take time and watch it and understand the story. And that's so important because this is how we reach people now that don't want to be reached sometimes and that just don't know how to find their way in faith. Working on the Reconciler in general is just such an amazing experience because everybody believes in one goal and everybody works together to make an amazing project. And I didn't want to leave. Like, I didn't want to leave the set. And I just want to keep this family together. Like, I don't want to leave, man. Like, I don't want to go back to LA. I want to stay here in Oregon. And I want to
Oregon, not Oregon.
Oh, Oregon, not Oregon.
Yeah.
It was a combination of a surreal experience and kind of being scared to death at the same time. You know, you've been waiting this long to do a Christian film, and you have to constantly say to yourself, I'm here.
It was a moving part for me, and I'm thankful that I got to play the part of Lori.
Being part of a faith-based film has been an incredible experience for us, and it's actually helped us a lot in our faith. You know, being out in Los Angeles, you know, there's a lot of temptations.
There's a lot of bad things out there.
I'm not gonna lie. You know, we've made mistakes, and just being part of this has been a real life-changing experience for us.
If people see this and are on the outs with a family member, or more importantly, on the outs with God, then maybe they will start to rethink that, start to think that maybe what they need is some reconciliation. Maybe they need to be reconciled to God. Maybe they need to talk to that person in their family who they haven't talked to in a while.
My hope is that this movie gets people thinking about that, and maybe talking to. And I know it has. I've had people that have seen it, even in the screenings, and you know, they've said, you know what, I called my son after seeing this. To me, that's the real reward off this movie, is to see lives changed, to see relationships healed, and ultimately that's what's going to last. It's not going to be how many DVDs we sell or what have you. It's how many lives are changed. And I think if we can entertain but also accomplish that second part, then it was worth it all the way through.